All right, a live look now through our CDOT camera at I-25 near University. We keep an eye on that morning commute every day, you know, the one a lot of people may not look forward to, especially on a Monday. For the most part, commuting to and from work is thought of as a necessary but undesirable part of work. But the rise of working from home in the pandemic led to an unforeseen realization for some. That commute can have a positive impact on our mental health. I love my commute. A new study even confirmed it, and this morning we have our 9 News wellness expert Heather Hunt's here to talk about the findings. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So what did this study show?
So first of all, there has already been research done showing that commutes can help people transition to work, to home, but this one found that they went deeper into the brain research and why that is, what happens. So when you commute, it gives you the freedom to think in an unstructured way and just recover from the workday and get ready for that home transition. And all commutes have, or I'm sorry, all transitions have three components: physical, psychological, and time-based. And when people don't get enough of a transition, there's a spillover that happens at home, making them more exhausted, bringing that into their home life, and it's also been found to lower people's job performance.
Really?
Yeah.
So how do these three, transition and relate to commuting?
Sure, so they looked at three different components of transitions that all relate, and the first one is the work to home role transition. So you start by disengaging with your work role through kind of rituals like turning off your computer, saying goodbye to colleagues, whatever you do, and then you go into the movement phase, which is either a passage of time, or you change location, or you get a mental break, and commuting has all three, and then you transition into your home role with things like checking your mail, greeting your family, changing your clothes. And then the second aspect they looked at is called liminal space, and that's the time in our brain where we left one role, but we haven't started a new role. And so we're not really taking on any major social role during that time. And certain things do influence it, like length of time and physical factors. So if there's a lot of construction or traffic or accidents, that will reduce that liminal space because you'll be more focused on the task of commuting. But then the third one is where you mentally disengage and you just relax. And this is where you get the, you decompress from your workday and you get into, be prepared to transition to the home role, and you could even learn to enjoy the commute. And driving, carpooling, walking, cycling, public transportation all count. Also, just silence or listening to music or podcasts, like you were talking about praying. I love, we were talking about that in the break. That all works and helps.
I love my morning commute. I have about 25 minutes, and it truly is the only moment in my day where I have peace and quiet. And I listen to podcasts, I pray, I just like the silence because that never happens. So I can totally see why this is beneficial for mental health. What is the length of time that they say is kind of the best?
Yeah, good question. So they have found that 30 minutes is kind of the sweet spot. If it gets a lot longer or more stressful, that can lead to lower health outcomes, physical and mental. But regardless, if you just switch that time in your mind, which I think you already have, to rather than being like a stressful commute or a waste of time, and view it as dedicated personal time, that can go a long way towards helping people's mental health.
Yeah, it's you time, soak it in, enjoy the peace and quiet. Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
This was a good one.